I wasn't too happy the way they did your deal. I would have done a lot better, you know that.
Season 3 of Tulsa King begins with a premiere that feels less like just another episode of television and more like a statement. From the moment the cold open begins, there's an energy in the air that says this show knows exactly what it's doing. And the reason it knows is because of the two men whose fingerprints are all over it. Sylvester Stallone and Taylor Sheridan. Separately, they're icons. Together, they've created a television partnership that feels inevitable, like two forces colliding at exactly the right moment. Sheridan provides the bones, the gritty world, the sharp dialogue, and the mythic scope of crime in the American heartland. Stallone provides the soul, the dialogue, and the lived-in presence, the gravitas, and the vulnerability beneath the steel exterior. And when you watch the Season 3 premiere, you can see, scene by scene, why this pairing has become a match made in TV heaven. Dwight Manfredi returns to us in this episode not as a man who's comfortably sitting on his throne, but as one who knows that every crown is heavy. In Season 1, Dwight carved out his place in Tulsa with the swagger of a man who had nothing left to lose. In Season 2, he defended it with the desperation of someone who knew he might not get another chance. And now, in Season 3, Episode 1, we see him wearing that crown with an awareness that enemies are circling, allies may falter, and his past refuses to stay buried. Stallone plays this version of Dwight with remarkable subtlety. He's still tough, still commanding, still dangerous, but there's an edge of weariness now. You can see it in the way he pauses before delivering a line, in the quiet sighs between words, and in the flicker of regret behind his eyes. This isn't just Stallone acting. This is Stallone embodying a man who's been chewed up and spat out by life, yet still refuses to lie down. What Sheridan brings to the table here is world building. Episode 1 is a masterclass in tone. The pacing is deliberately slow, not because the show lacks energy, but because Sheridan understands that tension builds in silence as much as it does in action. Every conversation feels like it's carrying hidden meanings. Every handshake feels like a test. Every moment Dwight spends in a room feels like the room itself might collapse under the weight of unspoken threats. Sheridan doesn't throw us into chaos right away. Instead, he sets the stage, making us aware that chaos is coming, that the storm is brewing, and that when it hits, it will hit hard. The premiere balances old wounds with new tensions. Dwight's personal life continues to bleed into his criminal empire, reminding us that his greatest battles aren't just fought with rivals but with himself. His daughter remains a constant shadow in his decisions, a reminder of what he's lost and what he's trying to protect, even as his way of protecting always pushes people further from him. In this way, Episode 1 cleverly sets up Season 3 as the season of reckoning. Every alliance Dwight has built, every deal he has struck, and every life he has taken or spared is starting to weave back into the story. You can feel the net tightening around him, and Episode 1 makes it clear this isn't a season about expansion, it's a season about consequences. And let's talk about Stallone here, because what he's doing is extraordinary. For years, audiences have thought of him as the action star, the underdog boxer, and the soldier who never stops fighting. But as Dwight, Stallone is giving us something deeper. Yes, there's still that physical presence, that sense that even at his age, this is not a man you want to mess with. But there's also fragility, there's reflection, there's pain. Stallone plays Dwight like a man constantly negotiating with himself. The mobster versus the father, the king versus the outcast, and the survivor versus the ghost of who he might have been. That duality is what makes Dwight so compelling, and Stallone leans into it with a performance that grows richer with every season. Episode 1 reminds us that this may be one of the best roles of his career, not because it shows us Stallone the action star, but because it shows us Stallone the actor. Meanwhile, Sheridan knows how to frame him. Every scene is lit and shot in a way that makes Dwight look both larger than life and strangely out of place. Tulsa itself feels like a character again, breathing down Dwight's neck, reminding him that he may rule the city but he doesn't own it. Episode 1 uses its setting brilliantly. Quiet bars that feel like pressure cookers, wide streets that suggest danger could be lurking anywhere, and homes that are meant to be safe but never quite are. It's classic Sheridan, making the landscape reflect the inner struggles of the characters. What's fascinating about this premiere is that it doesn't try to reinvent the show. It doesn't throw in some flashy gimmick or shocking twist just for attention. Instead, it doubles down on what has always worked: character, tension, and inevitability. Sheridan knows audiences don't just want explosions and shootouts. They want to watch power shift. They want to see alliances crack, and they want to feel the inevitability of the downfall that's always lurking in stories about crime and empire. And Stallone delivers that inevitability with every word and gesture. You watch him, and you can't help but wonder, how much longer can Dwight keep this going? How much longer can he stay ahead of his enemies, the law, and his own demons? By the time Episode 1 closes, it feels less like a premiere, and more like the opening act of a tragedy. Dwight isn't just trying to hold on to power, he's trying to hold on to himself. The premiere suggests that this season will test every piece of him: his leadership, his relationships, his loyalty, and his morality. And while Stallone makes you believe Dwight might still have some fight left, Sheridan's writing makes you suspect that fight may not be enough this time. And that's what makes this match between Stallone and Sheridan so perfect. Sheridan writes stories about flawed men facing the weight of their choices, about characters who are both larger than life and deeply human. Stallone embodies those men with a physicality and emotional depth that makes them unforgettable. Together, they've made Dwight into one of the most compelling TV anti-heroes in years. And episode 1 of season 3 is a reminder that this story isn't just about crime in Tulsa. It's about what happens when a man who's cheated fate too many times realizes fate is finally ready to collect. As a premiere, it's everything you want. It's tense without being rushed, reflective without being slow, and dramatic without being melodramatic. It reintroduces us to Dwight while setting the stage for the battles ahead. It lets us sit with the weight of his journey so far and prepares us for the storm that's about to hit. And most importantly, it showcases why Stallone and Sheridan are, once again, a match made in TV heaven. Season 3, Episode 1 doesn't just remind us why Tulsa King works, it reminds us why this collaboration matters. Because when Stallone delivers Sheridan's words, when Sheridan builds the world around Stallone's presence, the result is magic. It's the kind of television that feels both intimate and epic, both personal and mythic. And if this premiere is any indication, Season 3 isn't just going to continue the story, it's going to take Dwight and us into territory where every choice feels like the last one that really matters. This isn't just Stallone proving he can carry a prestige drama. This isn't just Sheridan proving he can create another television juggernaut. This is two masters working in harmony, creating a story that feels like it couldn't have been told by anyone else. And in the end, that's why this season 3 premiere works so beautifully, because it's not just about the plot or the setting. It's about that rare chemistry between creator and performer, that electricity when the right actor meets the right role under the right storyteller. That's what makes Dwight come alive. That's what makes Tulsa bleed with tension. That's what makes this premiere feel like television at its very best. Tulsa King Season 3, Episode 1, Blood and Bourbon, finds Sylvester Stallone's immovable protagonist, Dwight Manfredi, in an incredibly compromising position that jeopardizes all of his operations in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After his Kansas City rival turned business partner, Bill Bevilacqua, took out the relentless Chickie in the Tulsa King Season 2 finale, Dwight appeared to finally be going legit with his various businesses, including Bodie's weed shop and Mitch Keller's budding car dealership. That ship quickly sailed as he's pinned by FBI agent Musso, forced to do his bidding with a smile to avoid spending the rest of his life back in prison. A new Season 3 antagonist emerges in the form of the diabolical and self-righteous Jeremiah Dunmire, who shockingly has his longtime friend Theo Montague killed after Theo chose to accept Dwight's offer to buy his exceptional distillery. There's a chance that Theo may still be alive, but Dwight will undoubtedly be hunting down Dunmire moving forward, perhaps starting with his hot-headed son Cole. The Tulsa King Season 3 premiere saw the return of several fan-favorite characters, including the overly eager Tyson, the sharpshooting Grace, the hilarious giant Bigfoot, Dwight's slick-talking sister Joanne, and Dwight's Season 2 love interest, Margaret. New Season 3 characters include a dangerous New York mafia boss known as Quiet Ray, who wants a piece of Tulsa, Cleo Montague, Mitch's old flame and Theo's daughter, and the upcoming arrival of Samuel L. Jackson's Nola King.